So eNCA made a news report mistake by reporting the wrong person to have passed away, and they had to apologize for this particular one. This video, if you don't have good audio, there's buzzing generators around me. Eskom has decided to switch off my lights. I'm not just trying to find a better way to do audio. It's just not going to work right now. I need to get the video done. The message is more important than that. So I want to take this particular story and I want to talk about human error and how likely human error, like what you see over here, it can be so easily done. Something like this can be a small little mistake, something small, something just turn and can change what you intended on putting out. Now, of course, Kelly Khumalo is not dead. The person who passed away is a lady by the name of Winnie Khumalo. So, Winnie Khumalo, Kelly Khumalo, two different people. And if one is not clear on which Khumalo, they can make that particular mistake. And to show that, to show where I want to draw how this mistake might have been made, it might just be my assumption. I want to show it by what they reported on the website.
After a short illness, she was known for a long musical career dating back to the 1980s. She was a backing singer to Brenda Fassie before releasing her own material.
Through that video, you can see that eNCA does know which Khumalo passed away. That video, I don't think it's on YouTube because I looked for it on YouTube. It's not there. It is clearly on their website. If you go to their website, they are very clear on which Khumalo passed away, right? So where do I think this error came from? Before we talk about error and the whole languages, intended or non-intended and all this kind of stuff, it's possibly the production managers, okay, or the person who's writing the script out for the production for that particular show. In the video that is actually out on TikTok, it doesn't look like they showed a picture. So if they showed a picture, the reporter would have known which Khumalo. And so he just kind of like said it. It's either it was written on a script, because when they're doing the shows, before I go there, let me play you the video.
On the ground for us. If you are just joining us, our breaking news story is that musician Kelly Khumalo has passed away. We will speak to her colleagues in a short while.
This was possibly the error of the reporter or the anchor, as you might call them, and stuff like that. This is possibly his error because, and yes, it might be breaking news. At the time when he's thinking it has not been published, he hasn't seen it anywhere or none of that stuff. And so it's possibly the anchor's mistake on this one, because if you look at the words that are scrolling on the bottom, it's very clear. It's talking about the backup singer for Brenda Fassie. That is Winnie Khumalo. And so the one who sang the song, I Just Wanna Live My Life, there was a song that was very popular that used to say that she once sang. And so it was possibly an error that was done by the news anchor, because they were already clear on who had actually passed away.
A correction on what I said earlier. It is Winnie Khumalo who passed away at the age of 51, not Kelly Khumalo.
Now I want to talk about this from the position of error genuinely made and error. And I want to use the example of Billy Carson and West Half's debate discussion that happened 4 weeks ago, when West completely destroyed some of the arguments of the things that Billy Carson has been saying against the Bible. And I want to use this particular case as an example for a person who makes a mistake or an error, knowing that you don't have the information that you would need to dismiss what he is saying.
According to the Sinai Bible, Jesus wasn't crucified in that Bible.
Do you mind if I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
When you say the Sinai Bible, what are you referring to specifically? Refer to the Sinai Bible. Would you be referring to Codex Sinaiticus? Like the codex that comes? Okay. That's why I was trying to get some clarification, because I actually have I have a facsimile. So I have a photocopy of Codex Sinaiticus that I work with in my office. So I have it here. And the only reason I asked for clarification is because Sinaiticus in particular is just a 4th century Greek manuscript. Its text of the Gospels reads almost identical to the modern Greek text that we develop translations from. When you say that it denies the crucifixion or that the crucifixion isn't there, I mean, I can go on right now, Codex Sinaiticus, and I can look up Matthew 27. Where it has Jesus being crucified. And
where was that piece
I found
discovered?
the text where I was referencing, actually, I was misquoted. I misquoted there. It's the Gospel of Barnabas.
Really would say these things for years, uncontested, because he kept saying Sinai Bible, and most of us don't even know what the Sinai Bible was. Why he said these things was because no one could dismiss what he was saying. But West, because he's a scholar, he understands the subject. He's able to question him. Wait, what is a Sinai Bible exactly? Because we just hear Sinai Bible, we might be like, okay, what is that? Kanti, he's talking about a manuscript, and manuscripts, they're accessible. People can know what those are and easily dismiss what he's saying. But because people didn't know what Sinai Bible was he talking about, what is that? And so they never thought about that. So that was an intentional mistake. It's an error which is intended. And he used to use these things because people didn't know any better. He used these ideas of the Sinai Bible for a very long time because he knew people didn't understand it. And so sometimes people use mistakes or appear saying a mistake, an error, teaching error, because people don't know any better. And then there are people who say an error genuinely because they don't know. Exactly as you see in the story. Okay? The person doesn't know. I know. I hijacked the story so that I can preach the gospel. We sharpen how we... When something happens in your life, ask yourself, is it a genuine mistake? Is it an error because this person didn't know any better? Or is it an intended? Because the intended ones are very destructive.
destroyed on slavery by Wes Huff. Leviticus 25 condemns by death the man stealing. So stealing someone and selling them into slavery. And the fact that the 10 Commandments are prefaced with, you are a nation who was slaves. I'm the God of Israel who brought you out of Egypt. So there's a fundamental difference, and there's lots of literature on this. I would encourage people to read my friend Paul Copan's book, Is God a Moral Monster? He's a leading expert in the field of a comparative analysis of ancient Near Eastern war literature.
I said slavery continued on throughout the Bible with no problems.
But it was always undergirded by the fact that this was not the ideal.
They're kind of like what you saw with Dumi Kopstad, when there were channels that were reporting that he had died. Those are intended. They are intended to just drive traffic. They don't care what they're saying. They don't care who they're talking about. These are intended. These are intended to spread rumors or thingy because people are more chasing clicks. Here, it's a genuine error. Okay? There are people that say error because they don't know any better. They themselves are misled or misrepresenting the facts. There are people who, they are misrepresenting the facts because they too were misled. But then there are people that say an error genuinely because they don't know. So there are people that you might have termed a certain way because you misunderstood. They probably just didn't know. It's an important lesson. I thought that was quite an interesting one to open the year with. This Reality Show with the daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time of year, be sure check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comments. The message was more important than me having better audio, and Escom seems like they can just do whatever they want. So lights are off.